Hello and welcome everybody to Survarium. Survarium? Survarium? Something like that. Give them credit for naming the game incredibly strangely so that I can't pronounce it. Survarium is what I'm going to go with. It is a new free-to-play game that came out on Steam very recently, and I was very surprised by it, honestly. I was very surprised. It just sort of came out of the blue, and I'm kind of wasn't expecting it when it came out. I was like, what the hell is this? Well, Survarium is a game. It is essentially, by the aesthetic, you can see that it reminds a bit of Stalker. And in that term, I guess, S-Zone Online, which came out very recently. Although it doesn't have anything to do with the Stalker universe from what I can see thus far. There are no mutants, there is none of that. But it does resemble this sort of post-apocalyptic Soviet-era shooter, which is great. One of the unique things about it, I'm going to put it out right away, is that it's very slow-paced. For a game of this stature, you'd expect a lot of running and gunning action, but this one actually promotes a decent amount of thinking, positional play, good aim, which is incredibly rare nowadays. And, well, I have a game that I've recorded previously that I'm going to show you of me basically shutting up and just letting you enjoy the action. But that's going to come later. Right now, let's take a look at some of the options in the menu. Here you go. You can censorship. You can do some basic options for the game in general. Enable seeding. It doesn't have this torrent system, which, as far as I'm aware, takes up a ridiculous amount of your internet connection to get you into, give you proper ping and everything. And it does, at least I think, it takes up a lot of your internet speed. So if you're downloading something in the background or something, I suggest you don't do it. But in terms of actual, quality and stuff, when it comes to the connection, it's actually pretty good. You have some rebindable keys there, obviously. Nothing too dramatic, kind of what you'd expect from a shooter. Not that many options here, but obviously motion blur on or off. No FOV slider. Where is an FOV? I don't see an FOV slider here. Where is the FOV slider? Have you learned nothing? Oh God. You have your missions type over here on the right, which you may recognize from other games such as some more casual games, maybe like Hearthstone or something. Card games especially tend to have these daily missions. It's been goal to reduce their difficulty, which is kind of hilarious, really. Anyways, the main concern of everyone that ever looks at a free-to-play game is it pay to win? I don't know. The thing you can do with gold right now is reduce the cost of this. I should point out, of course, before anything else, that this is in beta, so changes will happen. It's not perfect yet. Obviously, a lot of changes are bound to happen, and they will eventually, so the game will hopefully be fixed a lot more by the end of this entire experience, and in a few months it will be, all the complaints that I have will go away, but as that's kind of unlikely, it does seem a bit pay to win. You can buy with your gold really good gear. It will put you higher in the matchmaking, so it isn't all that bad for the guys who don't plan to spend any money on this game. But the guns you buy seem pretty powerful. I'm nowhere near good enough to judge it, whether it's overpowered or whether the guns rather are overpowered or not, whether any of the gear and stuff is overpowered or not. But look at this. I can right now buy an AKM-65 or an AK-74. Hell, I can buy the Vintores VSS, which is these are some of the best guns of the era. Look at this. Look at this. Look at all this. For this, I think you have to be level 12, so, you know, there is grind associated with it, thank God, but, Also, you can buy these things, medkits, grenades and all that sort of stuff, later down the line, and upgrades. Gold, which kind of makes the grind a bit redundant. If you have gold, you do get an advantage, but not too much of an advantage from what I can see. The game actually promotes a lot of conscious moving and positioning, mostly. I've picked up the Mosin Nagant. It's a gun that I actually never had the chance to shoot in real life, but a friend of mine does have this gun, and he went out in the countryside shooting it one day. I kind of was sick at the time and I couldn't join him, but I was very close to shooting this weapon in real life. I've seen it firsthand. It's a very pretty rifle. I really like this weapon, but I never got the chance to shoot it outside of a video game. So that's completely, you know, pointless for the purposes of this video. But hey, still, I don't know, kind of keep it interesting, I guess. Jumping from topic to topic. Actually, that's the definition of not making it interesting. Moving on. You do have a decent selection of weapons. This is actually my inventory. I don't have. Yeah, as you can see, you have a decent-ish selection of weapons, pistols, and all this. The most interesting mechanic I've seen thus far, by far, that sounds wrong. The most interesting mechanic thus far is this system over here. The 4 classes, I suppose you can call them. The black market, the scavengers, or the military, or the fringe settlement. Which I guess military rebels, I suppose, if you can call them. The SKS, and all this stuff. This basically, they unlock specific weapon gear stuff for you as soon as you join them. So for example, I joined the black market, and this is what I can buy because I'm a member of this faction. This is very nice. This is actually a very nice mechanic that I really like. And it's not one that's been seen all that often. Now, we'll get to an actual gameplay of the game very soon, but I just want to explain a couple of things. You also have a level up system for your character. Goes into physical training and fitness. Survival skills, technical skills, and knowledge of the forest are not something that we have yet unlocked to us from what I can see. And just to note that the game is in PvP only right now. Yes, PvP only. There is going to be a PvE or a free game and a clan match and a training match. A free game I'm most excited by. Among other players and harsh conditions imposed by the ruthless forest. It's gonna be a proper survival game with guns in it. It's gonna remind me a bit. It reminds me a bit of DayZ, just without the zombies, right? And that I'm really excited by. And I'm actually kind of worried that the game is in beta, not in alpha. As you know, as counterintuitive as it sounds, we still have an entire game mode to see, and arguably the most important one, considering the game is called Survarium. It's about survival, one would imagine. What does that word even mean? I don't know, if I'm honest. But it's supposed to be about survival, right? And I mean, I'm doing team deathmatches, not surviving. Kind of the opposite of surviving. Oh well. Enough complaints. I've seen you everything here. I'm going to cut to the actual game itself, and then when it's not a very long game. I'll cut it up into bits and pieces. Basically, it was my first game trying to showcase what it's all about, essentially. And we had an idiot on our team which decided to exclusively shoot friendly players. Ended up with a score of -500 or something like that. Yeah, that was my first game, and I was in the top 3 players in the entire team. It should tell you quite a bit about the quality of people that I played with. Mind you, it was a level 0 to level 1 game, so I don't expect miracles. Anyways, we shall now cut to the game. And we're back. So, having seen that game, I can now bring you my impressions of, you know, the actual thing. It goes something like this. It is what I wanted S-Zone Online to be from a shooter standpoint. If you allow me to take a sip of water for a second. Much better. It is a very fun shooter, and not one that you see often. The pace of it is what got me the most. I was like, huh, well, there's not a lot of running and gunning and spraying in this, is there? Of course you do get it occasionally in close quarters and whatnot. That's normal, it's every FPS ever. But generally, the game style seems to be based around positioning. And a lot of people don't know this, but I'm actually a member of a very serious outfit in PlanetSide 2, and I usually play the roles of Heavy Assault, Anti-Tank Assault, and Sniper. Having the Mosin Nagant here, obviously a Sniper, and if my days with PlanetSide have ever taught me anything is move after each shot. Keep changing position, which I've more or less done here. And I ended up with a pretty good result. Considering this is my first game ever, the aiming was... I have no idea how it works at that stage. I had no idea how it works, rather. I have no idea whether I need to lead the target or not. It turns out you need to lead it just a little bit. But the hitboxes do seem a tiny bit broken at this point. I wish I could fix that. There's often where you hit a guy in the back and the bullet just sort of goes through him. I've seen that, I think, happen twice in that game. You clearly have the pointer right on him, and you clearly see the bullet going into him, but just no damage. Happened to me as well. I got shot directly in my chest, and the bullet just went through me. No damage taken on the thing down there. I guess, you know, beta is beta. I'm not expecting it to be fully functional, but if that was to be fixed and, like, everything was proper functional and working, this is a very strange shooter that we don't get to see all that often at all, and I am positively impressed by it. The graphics are rather nice in terms of the atmosphere. Like, the player models are kind of bad, but you take a look around the room here, and you see that it builds a very nice sort of rustic, stale atmosphere, which is great for the sort of post-apocalyptic vibe that it brings. Although there's no actual radiation or anything, it's just, I don't know. I don't actually know any of the lore behind the game, if there is any, but to be honest, you don't need it. It's kind of an FPS thing, and it doesn't actually have a single player, so whatever. Another squad here, I guess. Yeah, I will be playing this game hopefully with another person, although no spoilers. But yeah, my personal impressions, my first impressions of this game, I suppose we'll call them. We'll call the video that, rather. This is a very fun and interesting shooter. I think you should give it a go. It's not for everybody, obviously. Some people are not going to like the slow pace and the methodical and positioning play here that you get. But I really like it. I think it's very unique, and we don't have a lot of that out there right now. And I would... Oh god, my Steam is showing. Jake, what are you doing? Stop playing Elder Scrolls, go stream. Anyways, Twitch TV aside, it's a very interesting game that we don't get to see a lot of these out there nowadays. PlanetSide was, I guess, kind of what it reminded me of. Also, Heroes and Generals, if any of you have played that, you get that sort of vibe with the gunplay, I think, although the guns seem a bit more punchier and arcadey in Heroes and Generals. But it's a pretty unique game in of its own right, and I think you should definitely give it a try. It puts you right into the action. You need to grind a lot to actually have fun. The starting gear and guns are pretty damn okay. The one thing I still haven't figured out is how do you stop the bleeding. I think you need medkits, which is kind of the one complaint I have about the game right now. If you take a look at items. Yeah, items. Medkit, back of bandages for the scavengers. For the black mark, you get a trap, a grenade, and this. Which costs silver to actually get and use, which I'm not a fan of. I'd much prefer if we can buy a grenade a grenade and get that grenade every time we spawn. Nerf the grenades to all hell if you have to, or a trap. Have them cost a lot and then buy them once and have them each game. And, you know, if you want to have 2 grenades, then you can pay gold for them, which is, I don't think that's kind of game breaking, considering, you know, if you nerf the grenades a little bit, because their explosion radius does seem a bit big, and the damage they do, even at maximum radius, if you're 10 meters away from it, does seem kind of high as well. So yeah. The trap does 150 damage. That should be buffed, I think. It's a fucking trap. It should immobilize people, not just do damage. Anyways, moving on. I've played 2 games and I'm already complaining about the balance. I guess if you really care about the game, then you will complain. So yeah, there's that. I don't like this entire item system. I've seen it done a couple of times in this way in different games, and I never really liked this. Again, that's kind of just purely subjective. All in all, I think it's a very fun game, and you should give it a try. It's free to play, obviously. It's not going to cost you anything other than time you take to download it and try out a couple of games. But that's as much as I have to say. Really, it seems like a very fun game that I would recommend that you pick up if you seem remotely interested in this kind of thing. So thank you very much for watching. My name has been Juggernaut. As always, remember to like and subscribe down below if you're interested, if you like the video, obviously, and if you're interested in some of the other content that I produce on this channel. Until next time, take care, bye-bye.